Respected dear family members, my pranams to you. Yesterday, I was fortunate enough to deliver a lecture about Bhagavad Gita, focusing on the 5th chapter, Karma Sannyasa Yoga. The lecture was arranged exactly at 2 p.m. in a very famous temple, Sri Krishna Swami Temple, Neyyatingara, southern part of Trivandrum district. I expected a maximum 100 to 200 people as audience, whereas to our wonder, we could see more than 1,000 people. 1,000 among them, more than 50-60% were youths between 20 to 35 of age. Nearly 2 hours 30 minutes I described Bhagavad Gita, Karma Sannyasa Yoga, word by word, stanza by stanza, comparing the modern life, taking examples from the movies, and also examples from our day-to-day life, political life, social life, and psychological adaptability. Every aspect compared while explaining the 26 stanzas of 5th chapter in Bhagavad Gita. The pupils sat with the pin drop silence and attention, engrossed in the explanation, and at that time and after that, I thought, or I was thinking, and we were discussing that if any Indian heritage messages are given, or any book belonging to Indian heritage, if explained properly, suitable for the 21st century people living here, whether it is a working day or whether it is at 2 p.m. or whether the location is good or bad, hundreds and thousands of people will come for listening and taking as much as possible from the messages given by the individuals. Unfortunately, whenever we deliver lecture, we focus mainly on spirituality, sometimes religion, sometimes overdose of spirituality, of Parama Moksha, Jivatma mixing with the Paramatma and attaining the Paramarthiga Moksha, and so on. Always focusing on God, always focusing on performing rituals, focusing on chanting the names and namas and kirtanas, and overdose of devotion or bhakti. All these things are commonly injected to the audience whenever such lectures were or are conducted. That is not the need of the hour. The need of the hour is how to live a heavenly life in the modern world without jumping into negatives, without filling the mind with negatives, without filling the body with negatives, and without filling the family environment with negatives. If one can march forward by filling the mind, filling the body, filling the family environment, filling our culture, filling our society and filling our nation with the positive messages, received through these discourses. That is what the common people are looking for. We in India have got hundreds and thousands of sannyasis wearing saffron cloth, majority of them, they are the people ran away from the real life and got their escapism, got themselves saved under the shelter of sannyasa, doing nothing, learning nothing, and serving in no way the society with the saffron cloth and 100% ignorance. They move forward. Some of the Christians told me that some people who are completely useless, they are sent to the seminaries for getting training in the priesthood of the church. Similarly, uneducated and illiterate Muslims are sent to madrasa as the teachers for the young generation. They are useful for nothing else, so they are used for teaching Arabic and Quran. Similarly, these Christians are useless for any other work, so they will be becoming the father or nun in the church when they are growing physically and age-wise, not intellectually. They will become the bishop, and if they further grow, they will become the cardinals when God selected from Vatican of Italy. Here too the same thing is happening. Majority of the sannyasis are ignorant about real spirituality and real religion and our heritage and our literature, and they get up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock and do some Namasankirtana for getting the breakfast. After that, roaming here and there for till the lunch time. After that, sleeping. Then the tea, evening food, that day is over. Why I said these things? Only because to inform you that if these sannyasis, whether they are old, middle-aged or young, if they learn our heritage reasonably scientifically and with a logical and a rational analysis and reinterpreting the whole messages suitable for the 21st century, and if such a thing is done by the sannyasis, the world, Hindu world is ready to accept if it is given at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock on a working day, or even on a festival day, or even on a holiday, or any other day. They are ready to accept if given properly. Taking the messages from the movies, taking the messages from the day-to-day life of the individual who is delivering the lecture, taking the messages from what is happening in the politics, taking the experiences and messages what is happening among the intellectuals, political parties and the thinkers and the so-called radicals. If experiences and examples are taken from them and suitably presented in the Bhagavad Gita shloka, that is what I did. People are so much interested to gulp whatever we are telling. Such an approach has been completely avoided by the young sannyasis, middle-aged sannyasis and old sannyasis. What is happening? They are in fact devaluating the Sanatana Dharma and Hindu Dharma, which is the most scientific, logical and rational Dharma in the world. And perhaps that may be the reason why now throughout Kerala the saffron cloth has become an emblem of, a symbol of inertia, cheating and fraud. Even mutton seller, the cow slaughter or the butcher or the headload workers or the common man who is going to the market for purchasing the fish, they are all wearing the saffron cloth. Maybe because these sannyasis, knowing nothing about Hindu Dharma, acting that they are the symbolic representative of Hindu Dharma, and doing nothing and taking rest permanently, RIP, in their ashrama, and the society there really wants them, if they know the subject, they can go and teaching. Instead of that, they are not doing anything. If at all teaching, they are teaching the prayer, the slokas not needed in the 21st century, and the so-called pseudo-spirituality, which is not going deep into the mind, and majority of the messages given by majority of the sannyasis got rejected, received through this year and rejected through the second year. That is what is happening. And my experience yesterday, and also for the last so many days when I was delivering lecture in Singapore 1 month back, and delivering lectures in Colombo nearly 2 weeks back, and delivering a series of lecture in Kannur district where CPM leftist parties are ruling the day-to-day life of each individual. Hundreds and thousands of people are ready to sit in front of us, whether it is at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., 1 noon or 3 p.m., 6 p.m., 8 p.m. or so on. And tomorrow our lecture is at 9 p.m. in Kodamangalam. So remember that they are ready to come, provided you are really giving that in the most acceptable way for living a good, glorious life in the 21st century. My request to you, select good people, select intellectual sannyasis, and select the professors and good orators and speakers, and give them the subject, tell them what they want, and also inform the standard of the audience sitting in front of the podium, and make the sannyasis and make the speakers learn pretty well, not the crude pure spirituality of BC 1000. What we need in the modern period is the applied scientific, logical, rational spirituality and management principles of mind, body, family, our culture, our society and our nation. That in fact are given, all these are given in our literature. Bhagavad Gita is a pure management book, and that is accepted even by Harvard University and adopted by Albert Einstein and many people, including the hardcore communists. They accepted it and they are applying in their day-to-day life. Like that, if an individual who is delivering lecture of individuals, speakers who are delivering the lectures, if they learn the messages from our Indian heritage, suitably modify it through addition, deletion, modification and correction, without diluting the real essence and real meaning of these messages, if you are giving to the pupil, everyone, independent of their political lenience, independent of their caste, independent of their religious background, they are ready to take Indian culture, provided the speaker is giving according to the wavelength of the audience. This is what I experienced yesterday in my lecture at 2 p.m. After that, at 7 p.m., I was fortunate or unfortunate enough to go to the southernmost part of Trivandrum area known as Puva.